Yay, we made it. Hello to my LinkedIn family, my Facebook friends, and my YouTube channel friends. We are 3 minutes behind, actually 4 minutes behind, due to the fact that I am just running around like crazy today. And so my apologies to these two beautiful women that I left waiting, which I should never do.
We were having fun.
We're always having fun.
The best we can every day. That's what I tell people.
So
absolutely.
The reason why I wanted to toss this together at the last minute, it's Mental Health Awareness Month, I think, right?
It's Stress Awareness Month month, and then it's Mental Health Month next month.
Oh, next month. Okay, that's right. I knew the two are kind of bouncing up against each other. And when we talk about whenever I talk about stress awareness, I think of Dr. Irene, and whenever I talk about mental health awareness, I think about Rachel Beck. And I couldn't think of two better people to bring on to the show let's have a conversation about it, because I think there's not enough conversations going on about either one of these things. So an interesting thing, and I'm going to call these two people out. Actually, I'm just going to call this one person out, only because she shared her story on LinkedIn. So Lacey Abachi, who I love and is awesome, been connected to her for a long time. Both her and her husband Tony, we've engaged on the content. She recently came back to LinkedIn yesterday after taking more than a month off because of stress, being stressed. And another person who I engage with a lot that I simply love is Elise Michaels as well too. She took some time off after dealing with stress and friction with her partner, whom she just separated with. So two very high profile figures on our platform that have had to literally disconnect for a month or more because of dealing with this. So I thought this was the perfect opportunity to bring this up and have this discussion with you guys, to not only raise that awareness, but let's give some friendly advice out there how best to help with it, and what we should be doing to not only protect ourselves but help our fellow humans, right?
Absolutely.
So Dr.
Irene, did you go first?
Well, I was going to ask her first because she's got this Brain Reboot coming up this Saturday that I wanted to talk about too, because I think it's a perfect opportunity to shed some light there too. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. My heart goes out to anyone when I hear them talk about stress and how it's impacting them, and and the damage it's causing when it doesn't have to be that way. And I'm not quite sure what's worse. I received these we call it help a reporter out, like these queries. And one was from a reporter, a journalist for a magazine, for that the discussion was about high-powered women who are under a lot of stress, and what tools can you give them on perhaps how to eat better without removing their stress? Like, in other words, like that's going to help them. And I'm like, what are you trying to do? Like, put a Band-Aid over a gaping wound? Right? Like, in other words, the sad part about it is that it's the programming. Oh, I'm not under stress. I just have normal stress. That's like saying I just have normal headaches or normal brain fog. Right? It's like we've become conditioned to believe it's normal, and it's not. So I don't know what is worse, or who I feel sadder for: the people who aren't getting help because they believe there's nothing to help, or those people who really, really need the help and they're feeling the pain and they don't know where to turn to, or maybe they're afraid to turn for help, right? Which is where these conversations come in, and where Bob, you and I, and Rachel, you and I have bonded over this need to let people know, number one, you are not alone. And that what you're feeling is acceptable. And when I say acceptable, I mean it's not that it's normal. It's that you're not to blame. That's the word I'm looking for. You're not to blame. You're not bad, stupid, lazy, a failure, weak for feeling the way that you're feeling. And I'm here to say, I'm here to support you. And I know Rachel is, Bob is. And I think that is a place for starting, is to let people know they are not alone.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's important. I think there's such a stigma around mental health, number one, and stress, number two, right? Because people look at both in some cases, more so with stress, as a weakness, right? I'm letting the world get the better of me. I'm letting this get to me. I just be mentally stronger and fight past it. That's the kind of mentality most people have. And you guys know this very much so as entrepreneurs, right? With your own organizations, your own business, it's even twice as much like that. We're bombarded daily with messages of stick to it, with messages of soldier on, with messages of have grit, all that stuff. And I think what people who post that stuff are good intentioned. I believe that, but I don't think they realize some of the damage that they're doing, right? By putting those expectations out there. I mean, I love Rachel's post because she tells you to sit back and breathe. She tells you to accept. She tells you to take your time. Right? I mean,
Yeah.
you're all about that.
Yeah, people are always apologizing. They apologize for taking time off. They apologize if they're sick. They apologize. And I'm just trying to get people. I saw somebody write, I'm having, surgery. I'm sorry I won't be here. And I wrote him, I'm like, good luck with your surgery. We'll all be here when you get back. Like, we shouldn't have to apologize for living our lives. We shouldn't have to apologize for taking care of ourselves. And we just shouldn't have to do it. It's our lives, and people put a tremendous amount of pressure on people to show up at a specific time. No, we show up when we show up. We're managing all of our lives. Like you said, three of us have, very full lives. And I'm trying to teach people, and I'm going to discuss it tomorrow, my tips for success, people are doing the best they can every day. And please remember that. Yeah. And not every day is freaking rainbows and unicorns. It's not how life is. I mean, it's just, we both know that. It's just, so I'm trying to definitely use my voice to end the stigma of mental health. And I'm trying to teach people, please be calm on this platform. Please stop pushing people. Do it now. And listen, you need to motivate people, right? My network needs motivation, they told me, but you can do it in a loving way.
Yeah, exactly.
You can do it. You can do it.
Yeah, it's all about showing grace. I think that's true. I think there are two sides of the coin when it comes to showing grace to people. One of it is you got to show grace to yourself first, right? And be able to take that breath, and then you have to show grace to others because you don't have any idea what they're going through, right?
Thank you.
Especially on social media. Right? Let's face it, as brutally honest as we can be and as vocal as we can be for our causes, social media is a facade in some cases, right? People always put their best foot forward. People always want to seem like they're the ones that are successful, that they're the ones that have everything going on, when behind it possibly there's something different happening. Like if you would have told me before yesterday, that Lacey Abachi wasn't on because she was too stressed out to be able to do this, I would have said, no, she's got it all together, right? Because that's what we saw in her post. And she made a really good comment yesterday in her post, is that she's not going to do that anymore. She's going to be honest to who she is and what's going on in her life at that time. And I really appreciate when people do that.
Yeah, not every day. I've turned on the camera where I'm crying and I'm like, listen, this is what just happened. And I'm purposely doing that. and showing that side of it. And today, I'll just say today's not a good day. That this is what happened last night. And for people to see every emotion, because it's really people like, oh, no, we get to show up any way we want to show up, and that's what people are missing.
Yeah.
First of all, we all have our tribe, right? Our networks are a tribe, and we have our circles with our network. It's okay. I just wrote this in someone's post. Whoever those emotions are real, people need to see them. It's real life.
Yep. Yeah. I've been working with Megan McCarty, Rock Gut Coffee, who, by the way, is going to sponsor Coffee with Bob.
Cool.
I keep mentioning that. Rock Gut Coffee. It's delicious. But she's a young mom. She's got a 3-year-old that she's taking care of full time at home while running Rock Gut Coffee. And one of the things I told her, I said, you know what? When you post, and she literally just started posting this week, 3 posts. So check her out, Megan McCarty. I'll tag her in the comments. She made 3 posts this week. The first post was a selling kind of post. And I said, Megan, no, be yourself, because you are Rock Gut Coffee. So the next post she did was her little 3-year-old, crawling on her lap while she's writing her post. And the next post that she did today, which I thought was a riot, this big, huge pitcher of coffee. And she called it Spare the Coffee, Spoil the Child, or something like that. But that's spot on, right? That's what moms who are entrepreneurs go through. And for me, it made me want to have the coffee even more, right? Because you're not just buying the coffee, you're buying into the person, right? I mean, I've taken Dr. Irene's coaching, and it's helped me immensely. It's changed my life. It's cured symptoms of my MS that medication couldn't cure. But I didn't try doing it until after she and I had a conversation, until I started following her. And I did it because we built that trust. Same thing with you, Rachel. I mean,
So important.
we didn't always start out very close, but it was because we started following each other, and
it was like instant though. I mean, I was like, "There's Bob." So a lot of my friends had introduced me to you, and like, you gotta know Bob, and that was years ago. It was like years ago. Yeah.
Feels like yesterday.
Hey,
right?
I wanna jump in here and just say, for anyone listening who thinks that Rachel's just putting it on, that she's just like some holier than thou saying, thou shalt do this or thou shouldn't do this. This lady calls me at all hours, leaves a voice message on WhatsApp. Hi, love. Just thinking about you. Just want to let you know that you're amazing. I love you, and I'm thinking about you. I hope you have an amazing day, right? Nothing in return, nothing expected. I wouldn't say if she said any swear words. but the point is this is when Rachel says she cares. She really, truly does. I want the world to know this. Rachel, you are the real deal.
Thank you.
You're the most beautiful person I know, inside and out. And you care so much about people.
I do.
And so when you say your community is your family, and that you take your following your community very responsibly or very seriously, you do.
It's a symbiotic relationship. And thank you, sweetheart. Yeah. It's very kind of you. I've been trying to teach people, people have this, they think like followers are here and, like that's how it works. Followers and content. No, it doesn't. I've been trying to teach people it's a symbiotic relationship. I love my network. I care about them very deeply. It's a symbiotic relationship. There is no, I've been trying to, Bob and I were talking. I've seen a tremendous amount of entitlement go up pandemic in a big, big way.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to teach people about that every human being on this planet is equal, trying very hard because sometimes it's shocking. And I wasn't raised that way. I know Bob was, and I know you were. We're all the same.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's actually kind of scary too, the way it is. Dr. Irene, talk real quick about let's dive into your Brain Reboot boot camp coming on Saturday. I want to hear about this.
You're so awesome, Bob.
He's the ultimate, right? He just
Yeah. You're another one who's just like, how can I support you? How
Yeah,
can I
Bob
help
is
you?
really
How
this
can I help your
awesome.
cause?
Yeah, we need to say that.
Yes.
It was really that awesome.
Yes.
It's
Absolutely.
my facade.
No.
Hey, we see it like when we do our morning ones. Like, what's up, Bob? It's like really, but we're here.
Yeah. No, seriously. Bob's like that. He's constantly looking at,
Thank you.
other people and how he can help them. And that's why I was so thrilled and honored that you offered to do this coffee with Bob, this special live with you and one of my other favorite people on the earth, Rachel. And that is that this is, it's actually not just my thing. This is the it's 10 p.m. at night for me.
Is it really?
Okay. Yeah, it's reboot. Now I have to say this again. Stop, cut. Okay. It's Brain Reboot 2022. In other words, it's a summit series that world-class experts, and I'm honored to be counted among them, are putting on completely free event to help people, as we say, build a better brain to live a better life. And we have so there's 6 doctors that range from everything from Dr. Amelia Barrett, who is a Stanford trained neurologist, Dr. Tina Stein, who is a functional psychiatrist. Then there is Dr. T. Cadron, who has her PhD in, I believe, nutrition. There is Dr. Elizabeth Yarnell, who is a naturopathic physician who specializes in autoimmune conditions and MS.
I know her.
Then there is Dr. Sam Shea, who is a doctor of chiropractic and specializes in neuroscience as well as the epigenetics of food and how that impacts you and how you eat for your brain. And then I, of course, specialize in helping people shift from stress to success in all areas of their life, their career and wealth, their health and energy, their relationships, their personal life. So it's extremely well-rounded. And why Brain Reboot? It's because we all got together and started talking and realized that, even when we talk about pain, so Dr. Amelia Barrett is talking about reboot your brain to reduce pain. Because why? Because pain is perceived in your brain. So even if it's your elbow, whether it's a headache, a migraine, low back pain, you might think you feel it here, but it's actually in your brain. And so what's going on in your brain impacts it. Elizabeth Yarnell is talking about brain fog and other hidden signs of inflammation, right? So how that is impacting you. Dr. Tina Stein is talking about reversing depression with food and digestion because her story starts. She was a classically trained psychiatrist until her teenage son developed acute suicidal, like literally depression, where he was standing on a 5th-story ledge about to jump. And it turned out that the reason was because he had celiac disease and they didn't know it. In other words, it's not just a chemical imbalance in the brain, right? So Dr. T. Cadron is talking about how there's a whole bunch, especially emerging science behind the connection between the brain and the gut. You talk about your gut as being your little brain. It actually has more neurons, more nerve cells than your brain does. Just like it actually has more of your immune system than anywhere else in your body, right? So if stuff goes wonky, highly technical term, with your digestive tract, then it's going to impact your brain, right? So that's why we have Dr. T. Cadron talking about eating. I can't remember the name of her talk, Eating for Your Brain. And mine is Retrain Your Brain to Mend Your Mind. Understanding that how you respond to stress is something you have control over. You may not have control over the curveballs that are thrown your way. And I'm passionate about teaching people tools that they can use in the moment so that they can hit those curveballs out of the park.
Mm-hmm.
As I say, so it's a beautiful synergy between all of us and the information that we're bringing. It's Saturday. That's the 23rd, just making sure. Saturday, April 23rd, noon to 3 Eastern. And even if you can't make it, please register anyway, because there will be an encore the following weekend. So it's a beautiful opportunity to learn simple, easy, actionable tools and resources that you can put into action like the instant that you learn of them.
Yeah.
And as soon as you get off the call with us, so that you too can reboot your brain. So that is my plug for the Brain Reboot 2022, the spring series, if you want to call it.
Yeah.
Of this one.
And best of all, it's there's no charge to this. This is
it's free.
Giving back to the community. It's absolutely free. All it's going to take is what, maybe 2-3 hours of invested time, right? I think.
Yeah, absolutely. It's 3 hours. So each of us is going to take approximately half an hour between our talks and Q&A and so forth.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Check it out. People want
you have to. I was in the first. This is the second one, right? I was in I did the first time you guys did it, and it was just amazing. Just amazing.
Yeah.
Especially your part, Dr. Irene.
Thank you. Yeah, especially since I was in Crete, Greece at that time, and
I never know where you are.
I'm in Croatia right now.
I was gonna say you're in Croatia right now, right?
Yeah, I never know. I'm like, I'll text him like, hey, so where are you this morning? I was like, literally, no, you never know where you are. Like, you're always
well,
like,
it's part of my personal life vision to be able to live and work anywhere in the world while contributing at the highest level. So it's
a blessing. I mean, we are like, for us, really, it is picking up our laptop. We have our laptops, our phones, and we can literally run our entire companies through those two devices. If we didn't have our laptops and phones, we'd have a different story. But it's truly a blessing that we can set up shop as long as we have Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Well, it's a blessing. It's a blessing for her, but not for Nala. Just as she gets comfortable, you got to pick up and move her again.
Oh, I don't know about that. Nala's my puppy, and Nala is like my travel buddy. Yeah. And I think she actually loves it. She loves like having the new. She's having a nap right now, and because otherwise she gets like a hold of a chew toy and she'll be like, while we're talking on, So I'm just like, I think that she can take a nap right now, but we do this. So,
but Bob's got his dogs too. Bob has his ones.
Yeah, the door's closed, so they can't come in when I'm filming. They're not allowed. They've interrupted a couple times. So Rachel, you travel back and forth too, right? Between Iowa and Florida, right?
Yeah, I would say like 90% of the time I'm down south. I would say I'm down here. But when I do travel, I'm just I learned how to do it, and someone's. He's sleeping. Irene hasn't seen my puppy. I just realized that. You've never seen my puppy. Yeah, you've never seen. He's come on, bye. Bob's seen him because we've done like a dog to dog coffee. We did. We did. I was like, where are you? I was expecting. Come here, baby. Come here. It's like, oh my gosh. Is it good?
Gotta love doing lives.
Aww.
He's a little guy. He's tiny. He's a foster too. He's a rescue dog.
Of course he is.
They're like, we're like, I'm very proud.
Mine aren't rescues. Mine are rescues. Ours are, we breed them. So
you read? What are you reading? Like, what are you reading?
German Shepherds.
I didn't know. Okay, so the one that you showed me, that's always, so you actually breed. Wow.
That's a German Shepherd. Yeah, that was from. We have her mom, the female, and that was from her last litter. And then we have a 2-year-old black German Shepherd that we're going to breed as soon as she comes into season.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And to eat.
Oh, it's Nala.
Shepherds are awesome. Nala she just turned a year old. She's a cockapoo. I always blame her on Dr. Dan Carlicchio, for those of you who have met Dr. Dan. Dr. Dan has a cockapoo, Rocky, who's a little bit older, and so I would see him on Rocky on the Zoom calls.
Yeah.
And then when my son decided that I needed another dog to keep me company for when I was traveling, he ended up getting me one like Rocky. So every time Nala would chew something to bits, I would turn to Dr. Dan and go, "See, it's your fault."
How does she do with the traveling? I mean,
She's awesome.
Yeah.
She's awesome. We call her nickname is the Mountain Goat, because whether it was in Crete or whether it's here in Croatia, we're living on the edge of the Dinaric Alps, right? So behind me is the Dinaric Alps, and in front of me is the Adriatic Sea. And so there's hills and slopes and rocks and everywhere. And she's like a little mountain goat. She's like constantly jumping up on things. Yeah,
they need to get out. They need to. Yeah, I was gonna ask you, Bob. Do you run your dogs on the mile up there? Do you like go up to the mile or up by the Lake Michigan? Do you run them up there?
No. So I live about 30 some odd miles south of the city. So we have like acre. They get to run around my acre all they want.
Yeah, they're like freedom.
Yeah,
the little dogs get when the door opens and they're like,
yeah. You know what? It doesn't surprise me, Rachel, that you have a rescue, because you have the heart of a rescuer.
It's my third. This is my third. I had a lab for 17 years. And she was from a shelter, and then I had another dog, and my vet had said, "Hey, Rach, do you want another dog?" And the dog came in, like licked me. I was like, "I'm done." That dog's going on the day. Yeah. So I'm very like, and my friend was fostering. You know, it was she was fostering him. She's like, "So, how you doing?" I'm like, "Good." And unfortunately, tragically, I lost my lab after 17 years. So I went through the grief process, and she said, "Huh, how you doing?" I'm like, "Good." And she like sent a photo of him, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh." Dogs find you. Dogs find you. I totally believe that.
Yeah. Yeah. And somebody said to me, like, "So what color do you want? What sex do you want?" And I'm like, they choose you.
Thank you. They find us.
They choose you. All I had to do was walk in and see who came up to me and chose me.
That's exactly what I did with my black lab. I took her and her sister out in this outside pen area where they could run in the at the shelter. So it was her and her sister running around. They're like this big. She was 10 months old when I got her. She came up to me and did that little. She tipped her head. Her ears were big ass, ears because they're labs, and I was like, "Oh, I'm done."
Well, so before people start thinking that they're actually watching Animal Planet.
Sorry, what's wrong with that? Right? This is all mental health. We're talking about companions.
I was going to bring it back to that. There is, and Dr. Irene, you could back me up on this. There is medical proven science that pets, animals, whether mostly dogs, I'm not a cat person, they actually help bring a sense of calm to you, and help actually clear you of depression, help you heal more because of the what's the word I'm looking for?
I know exactly what you're trying to say.
Unconditional love they give.
Yes. So Odie is actually an emotional support animal. I went through a tremendous amount of training. And so like he has a vest and he can use, he's ESA. He can go anywhere with me. And he lowers my heartbeat. He does a lot for me. And there's times when I have to go on a travel, he's whole stay with someone, but it's night and day for me. I have PTSD, and which is not easy some days.
Yeah.
So he's like, I love that you brought this up because it ties together. There's a lot of people who have. So we know how wonderful service dogs are, what they do. And it's the same thing for an emotional support animal.
Yeah. I do some volunteer work for Freedom Paws service dogs for vets.
I love that.
Had them on Coffee with Bob, and we've paired up a couple dozen dogs with vets that are suffering with PTSD or other illnesses in it gives such satisfaction. I mean, we got into dogs, breeding it actually through Leader Dog for the Blind up in Michigan. And right now there are probably something like 50 some odd people with disabilities that have dogs that we bred. Which
wow, that's so special.
Yeah, which is really cool. We don't do it anymore now. We're doing it on our own. We don't work with Leader Dog anymore, but just because it got to be a lot for us, and it's like a 6-hour drive.
But also the fact that you're doing it, and you probably say, Dr. Irene, you know the benefits of people having.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things that I've been talking more and more about, and I'll jump over to a related and tie them together, and that is that if you've ever heard of the blue zones, the blue zones are these pockets of communities throughout the world. And there's only nine, I believe. One of them was in Greece, which is why I wanted to go to Greece. Another's so it's one of the small islands in Greece. Sardinia in Italy, the Nicoya Peninsula in Costa Rica. There's one in Japan, Loma Linda in California, and these blue zones are areas where the inhabitants, an extraordinary number of people, live well beyond 100 and live well, like full, vital lives. And they're not, it hasn't got anything to do with finances, because most of the communities, the regions, are actually depressed economically. And so when the researchers were looking at these blue zones, looking at what was in common, they pulled out 9 factors, and say the first 4 or 5 had to do with lifestyle. You could say how they ate, or how they drank, or what kind of exercise they got. And I looked at it from my overarching perspective and went, the thing that is common through all of them is social connection, is love, right? In other words, they talk about, yes, eating a primarily plant-based diet that has some meat and some fish in it within a family or friends, like social setting. They drink moderately within a social setting. They exercise, natural movement, mostly within a social setting. Right? You see, like the common denominator here is that all of these communities are close knit and have that close connection, whether it's extended family, a religious circle, or just their whole community, right, is very, very close knit. And that, to me, is the number one factor. And this is where I believe the emotional support dogs come in, because most of us no longer live in extended families, in close-knit communities where you know each other from basically the moment you're born to the moment you die, right? And where so many people feel alone and lonely and lost because they don't have the supports that they used to have. So it's a perfect pairing to have dogs who, by nature, most dogs are incredibly loving, that unconditional love, like that just want to give, and right, and so they're with you all the time, right? So it doesn't have to be your extended family. It doesn't have to be your community or your religious circle or whatever. You need connection. It's an essential emotional need. Connection, love.
And that's what's so beautiful about LinkedIn. It is a community.
Yes.
It's a family. It's where relationships are born. And that honestly is what I think some people miss. They don't get it. that and I told them, like, when the pandemic started and we got locked in, I'm like, now's the time. Get out there. You are home. You're isolated. This is the time for you to build those friendships while you're in lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
And Bob was saying too, like, that we are a community, like, reach out.
Yes.
Like, so I think that people don't realize, like, we want them to realize that. We want them to, they can reach out to three of us, and that deep, very deep friendships are born on this platform.
Yeah.
Like, when the three of us finally get to go to dinner together, it's going to be like we've known each other forever.
Yeah, really.
You guys, that, come down to Florida or wherever, whatever we do, and we
Instead,
go out.
we just eat while we're on Zoom, right?
Yeah.
We have.
So to say, like, it's people like, wow, I met, like, when you meet Bob, you've done it, right? We've met people from LinkedIn in person.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you've known each other forever.
Yeah.
Irene, have you done that yet?
Yeah. So I've
Yeah.
met several of my connections. In fact, next week I'm getting together with Michael Ray. We're going out to dinner.
Nice.
No,
Have you met him? Have you met him before in person?
No. I've
Oh,
met
Mike.
him on Zoom calls
Right.
and stuff like that. We've talked a lot, and through LinkedIn, of course, but never in person. And
Michael's amazing.
yeah.
Michael, I have been with Michael.
Well, I'm going to be in Louisville next week, so
Nice. Yeah. He's just an incredible human being.
yeah. Yeah, and so Corey Warfield, he lives here in Chicago, so he and I have gotten together a bunch of times, and love him to death too. And
Corey's a wonderful person.
Yeah.
Wonderful person, yeah.
So
but it's like you've known each other, right? The first time
Yeah.
you meet, Irene and I will show up at a restaurant, when she's done. Okay, what's up? Let's go. That's what I tell people. We've known each other forever, so it's like, let's go. Let's hit. Let's hit the.
it makes it so easy, doesn't it? It really does.
Yeah. Well, and I want to say, like, I know people are getting, what do they call, Zoom fatigue.
Yes,
They're getting tired of it all. And yet I'd love for people to look at the positive and what they have gained as a result of the last couple of years and this new, I call it, global community.
Yeah, can you imagine if we didn't
Right.
have that? I tried to tell it to people, and they're like, "Oh my God!" I'm like, "Listen, imagine being locked down and you didn't have it, and you didn't have technology. Think about the people who didn't have that during the lockdown." And that's where it comes, Bob, when I was talking about attitude of gratitude. Like, think about the people who don't even have this technology,
Right.
down away from their families, that couldn't do, like, we did holidays through Zoom during the lockdown.
Mhm.
Think about that. If you couldn't do that. So when people are like, "Oh, I'm like, at least you have it." Do you know how many people don't have it?
Yep.
They didn't have it. Were far away, halfway across the world, and couldn't talk to their family because they didn't have they didn't have technology.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the other side of it.
Well, I think the people who got Zoom fatigue, I really do think it's because they didn't step outside of their box to make relationships through Zoom, right? For the people of Zoom fatigue, it's all about the meetings. It's all about getting to business. Where if you used it to step outside of your box and start to build relationship with others,
and laugh, have coffee with Bob.
yeah.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why I started it, so I can help, sort of build more relationships, better relationships, stronger relationships. You don't necessarily have to press the flesh to do that, as they say. It'll be great someday to be able to do that again, and meet people in person. I'm looking.
You made me smile, Bob. You made me smile. That was a new expression for me.
I was just like,
never
what?
heard press the flesh?
No.
I've never heard that. I've never
Oh
heard
Is
that.
that a Chicago phrase?
Yeah,
I guess it is. Press the flesh. Shake hands.
Oh. My farmer brain went somewhere else.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh man.
Bob,
Okay, so on that note, I think it's time to go.
Like me and Irene's look, we were both like, we did the same thing.
Seriously, you've never heard press the flesh?
Never.
No.
Never.
Wow. Google when we're done. Google.
I don't
it.
want to Google it because I know it's gonna.
No. I like your answer, Bob.
Yeah, that's a great answer.
That is the answer. That's what it means. It means to. You never heard the term "get out there and press the flesh"?
No.
I've heard
It was a political. Actually, I think its roots are it's a political term. You get out there and shake as many hands as you can with your potential voters, constituents, whatever you want to call it.
That's gonna
But
that's gonna be our new expression. Dr. That's gonna be we're gonna be texting
I am doing a post on that, guys.
I know, I mean, the best you when you go back and you see the replay, you're gonna see me and Irene both went.
Okay, you need to put a hashtag press the flesh.
I think I'm going to. Yeah, I think I'm going to.
It's bad. I love being able to tell people you learn something new every single day. That's what life is, and this is my.
Well, and people have learned. I'm pretty old, I guess.
I just think that is like the new. I have to like. I don't want to Google. It's gonna be weird. I mean, it's
maybe it's a Midwestern thing. It might be a Midwestern thing. I don't know.
I was there for 15 years. I've never heard it.
That's right. You're from Iowa.
Yeah, I mean, right. And so I was there for 15. And I was in Missouri. I never heard.
Wow.
I've heard.
All right.
I think it's a Chicago thing because I lived in Michigan for almost 4 years and I didn't hear it. So
we'll keep this G rated.
Okay, we'll keep it G. Yes, it's family rated.
I think on that note, we probably should wrap it up anyway.
This is great. Oh,
I'm just getting redder.
Up in night, I think like, okay, so what's the deep meaning? I'm just like all right. Bob,
I think we should like take this
is it right here
and say, who says learning has to be boring?
That's right.
And serious.
That's right. That's right.
And thank you, Bob. Thank you for having us. You are a true gentleman. You're an incredible human being. I have so much respect for you. I always have. I'm so glad we got introduced by a common friend years ago.
I know.
And I can't wait till like you and your wife and Irene, we all go out and we have a great time. It's going to be wonderful.
We will soon. As soon as she gets done traveling through all of Eastern Europe, we'll all get together.
It's going to be.
I was like, Lisa's here too.
Yeah, I want to meet her. I really want to meet her.
Yeah, we will. I mean, we're gonna end up. I'm probably gonna end up in South Carolina in the next 2 or 3 years. I think.
Interesting.
For good. Yeah, we're gonna migrate out south. I think.
You've been doing the drive.
We're be doing the drive tonight, and instead of flying because it's my grandson's second birthday Saturday.
Happy birthday!
That's gonna be fun. I'm excited. That'll be fun. So, it's gonna be a long trip. But
safe travels.
Yeah, thanks.
Safe travels with everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks for joining me, guys. I really appreciate it. I love having you guys on. You're my
anytime you guys want. We could do funny shows too. We don't always have to be so serious.
Yeah,
I think we should do a Fun Gets More Done weekly show. What do you think?
Yeah,
we can pick one topic and riff on it and
just some fun stuff too. Because some people, we could just do so important.
we could have contests to see who makes the funniest face and we can take a still shot and then take a poll to see who wins.
We could do something hysterical. So when Bob comes back, we'll set it up
let's set it. We'll set it up. So, all right.
Bob's where did this go down?
Yeah.
But that's what makes it so much fun. That's as soon as he said that, our minds were like.
and that's you know what it is. It's like being on I'm literally sitting on a couch right now. I mean, maybe we should do something like that instead of coffee with Bob. It'll just be on the couch or like a friend.
Press the flesh. Or press the flesh.
Yeah, there you go. Press the flesh. Bringing that up again.
We'll get a lot of traction. Because it's going to get a lot. And then,
All right, ladies.
I have to say, I'm so appreciative that I cannot believe that 10 months ago, I didn't know Bob. I don't think 8 months ago, I knew you, Rachel. And yet you two have become like my family. And I appreciate you both so much. And it feels like we have been together forever.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Wait till we all go out to dinner. We're going to be rolling. When Bob,
it's gonna be fun.
Bob has been years. Bob I've known for years.
Yeah.
So whenever Bob's like, "Hey, Rach, I really want you to meet," I know there's a reason why. I know.
Well, when I'm back in North America, I'm coming to visit y'all.
Okay, cool.
Yay!
Deal. If
I
can make
barbecue, we go barbecue.
Barbecue. Oh.
I'm gonna do some smoking.
Yeah.
Barbecue
for you guys. All right, guys.
I just realized we're still live, aren't we? Yeah, we are.
We are.
Yes, we are.
For the moment. Don't go away. But thank you guys. I appreciate you very much. And this was a blast.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.